Hi, my name is Rose. Welcome to my kitchen and welcome to my channel where I want to discuss the high strangeness that has entrenched my life and the high strangeness that I think is a lot more common in people's lives than they think or are willing to admit. So on today's episode, I wanted to talk about my first memory. My first memory was when I was 2 years old in 1992. Myself and my family were moving from Washington State to 29 Palms, California for a military transfer. However, there was still a 2-week gap between when duty started and the house was going to be made available. So we ended up in a small apartment for about 2 weeks. It's basically like staying in a hotel for 2 weeks. So because we were only at this apartment for 2 weeks, we only moved in our beds, couch, lamp, and a couple of boxes and called it good. We didn't hang up anything on the walls, we didn't have any dressers or anything, nothing was unpacked. I had like a single box of toys in my bedroom, and I remember that. And the following memory, I actually ended up having validated by my mom because I shouldn't have been able to remember this place, let alone this incident. This incident is an instance of astral projection. I would later find out in life once I learned what that was. Astral projection for me is something that is incredibly real and needs to be taken seriously. And not just in like the woo-woo, oh, it's so beautiful, you can have a great time. There's a lot of bad things that can happen on the astral too, and there's a lot of things that are there that affect your everyday life and you wouldn't know it. So the fact that my first memory ended up being something that ended up affecting my life so greatly later on, I think is not a coincidence. So in this memory, I wake up in my bed and I sit up and I look around and everything's all pretty and blue and bathed in like just this beautiful blue white light. And I'm like, wow, this is so great. And I get up, and instead of putting my feet down on the floor and walking out of the room, I decided I was gonna float. And that's what I did. I just floated up out of my bed and I just kind of floated around the room, and then I ducked down under the door frame and I floated down around the hall. And I floated into the living room, and I remember being up high above that one couch and just being like, wow, I wish I could fly this high all the time. Haha, this is great. And I flew over to the windows. Like in the living room, there was a sliding glass door that had those, those plastic paneled curtains that kind of clack together when they move. Well, they were like tilted open slightly, and I remember how beautiful the moonlight was as it streamed into the house. And I floated there for a moment just looking at that blue light and thinking about how beautiful it was. And then I floated around the corner into the kitchen, and I floated up on top of one of the kitchen countertops, and I landed, and I just stood up there and was like, wow, this is really awesome, this is cool. Then I was like, oh yeah, it's still in the middle of the night and everybody's asleep. I should probably get back to bed. So I took up off of the countertop and I floated all the way around back through the house, down the hallway, back to bed, and laid back down in bed and went back to sleep. And that is my first memory ever. I don't remember moving to that place. I don't remember, like the only thing I remember is being tucked in that night, seeing my box of toys on the floor, and remembering like the light was on. It was like a fluorescent kind of light, and because there was nothing on the walls, like it was just kind of like really ugly. And I think that's why like the next second that I remember of like everything being bathed in blue was just so gorgeous. And so yeah, that's my first memory. And like I said, it's gonna tie in later to a lot of stuff that I talk about, and it's something that I didn't really think about until I was older. When you're a kid, you just don't think about that kind of stuff. That was something that I thought was just kind of like normal for everyone. And again, I kind of do think it is, like, and I think a lot of stuff gets dismissed, especially with kids. Something that I will touch on in my next video is an instance of that, and it was again something that I just couldn't really didn't really think about until later on in life, when I was like taking a step back and like going through a lot of other crazy experiences, and then I connected the dots and realized this stuff was going on the whole time. So yeah, comment down below, let me know what your first memory was, how old you were. Definitely let me know if it was something kind of strange like this. I know in my heart that was not a dream. That was as real it is. Everything is every day. Like, I just don't have another way to describe that. So yeah, comment down below, give it a like if you liked it, give it a thumbs down if you didn't. Let me know what I need to do differently, and go ahead and subscribe, because I got a whole lot more of these kinds of stories coming. So yeah, stay tuned.